States Republican governor is watching all of this quite closely. Rick Snyder joins us now. Governor, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Neil.
Do you ever think this could push GM right over the edge?
No, I think GM's responded very well to this. This is a very troubling and tragic situation. We just saw that.
Yeah.
But as a practical matter, Mary Barra's really stepped up to say they're going to take responsibility. They're investigating this. They're working hard on this issue.
All right, so all the recalls and the issue that it's going to cost the company a bundle and maybe put it right back into bankruptcy, you don't see that?
No, I don't see that. Again, they're being very responsive to this, and I appreciate their efforts.
All right. You talk about Michigan, what you're doing, or you were giving me a pamphlet a while ago, all the stuff that you've done since you took office. You're up for re-election. A lot of people are looking at you nationally because you seem to be ticking off a lot of conservatives and liberals, but you argue in the effort of getting things done. To that end, hiking the minimum wage in your state, a lot of business groups, Chamber of Commerce, the State Restaurant Association, they're livid, they're furious. Why did you do it?
They actually weren't in the end, because this was a compromise. This was a bipartisan compromise. There was potentially a ballot proposal that would have been devastating, potentially, about going to 10-10, not just for regular workers, but for tipped workers, if you think about that. So
this goes to 925
in a number of years.
Right.
And if you look, again, there had been no increase since like 2008. And if you look at the steps, Neil, this is a very rational plan that I think was a good compromise.
So you headed off what you thought would be something that would be more onerous to businesses. But when they come back and worry about job flight, what do you say?
Well, I talked to the business community because, again, this was about people working together to understand here are the options, and isn't it better to work in a constructive fashion to bring both parties together, bring the business community, look at the other people out there in the marketplace and say here's a way people have increased wages, and here's a way to do it where it's not about job destruction. It's about continuing to grow Michigan's economy.
But you're also a pretty savvy deal maker. Was it true that as part of this arrangement, the Democrats who voted for this, that they would sign on to, you know, a tax or revenue or surcharge that would help with roads and bridges to the tune of $1.5 billion? What was the quid?
Well, there's no direct connection, but it's about building that relationship of trust to solve
But there
things.
was a connection.
And
right?
we are looking at that. Over the next couple days, we're considering a package that could raise $1 billion plus for Michigan's roads, and we need it.
Through taxes?
Through taxes. To be blunt, I'm a very frugal guy. I'm the token CPA governor in the country, and I'm proud of that. But this is a case we've underinvested in our roads for decades, and this pothole season really brought it home to our citizens.
You know, whatever you're doing, and whether people like or oppose you, I was reading a column in the Detroit News where they talked about your growing national stature. And referring to you, Governor, said he's also gained leadership weight. He's not so much the differential, goofy nerd who came into office. He understands now he's the most important person in the room. Is that true?
I don't look at life that way. I look at it as how do we solve a problem? And God knows we got enough problems in this country. And the issue is how do we take on these tough issues? Detroit's a great illustration of that. That was a problem for 50-plus years. So when about putting Detroit in bankruptcy, authorizing that was a really tough call to make. But the way I viewed it is it's not a new problem. It's a solution to 50, 60 years of problems. And I've done that systematically.
The union guys got furious. They likened it to the equivalent of Gerald Ford telling New York City, drop dead. What did you say?
It's not dropping dead. It's how do we embrace a problem and solve a problem. And isn't that what people want in this country, is to solve problems? We've done it systematically in terms of revising our tax code, in terms of balancing our budget, in terms of paying down our long-term debt. Those are three issues that Washington should be looking at. The way I view it is I follow a philosophy of no blame, no credit, no fighting. Just think what Washington would be like if everyone agreed that there was no fighting and no blame. There'd be a whole lot of time to solve problems.
See, I built my career on all blame and taking all credit.
Well, this is how you become the comeback state, though. We're coming back strong.
But what do you make of that? I mean, they compared you, and I thought of it, maybe you're a sleeping giant in the Midwest. So a lot of attention goes to Scott Walker in Wisconsin and Kasich in Ohio. But maybe what you're doing is a version of what, you know, Chris Christie's doing in New Jersey, but with not near the controversy.
Well, again, controversy doesn't solve any problems. And the way I view it is I don't want people to just judge me by what I said, but did I do what I said I was going to do? And is Michigan better off because we've solved structural, fundamental issues? And we are. And that's what really matters, is because it makes a difference in our citizens' lives.
All right, but when Republicans look at that on a national basis, particularly conservative members of your party, they look at the wage hike, they look at the accommodation maybe for taxes to improve infrastructure, and they say he's almost too pragmatic. He's he's too mainstream. He's too rhino. What do you say?
Well, again, I don't play one spectrum or the other. The common sense answer is what really matters to me. I pretend I'm sitting at the kitchen table with 10 million people in my family saying, if you were making a call as a family member, what would you do? And it works. And when you look at issues, we started by redoing our entire tax structure to make it simple, fair, and efficient. We've balanced budgets for 4 years in a row, rock solid.
And you did the tax cuts to lower and middle income folks.
We made tax cuts
not to upper income.
Well, again, not to upper income, but again, in terms of making us much more competitive in terms of job creation. And we've created over 250,000 private sector jobs in Michigan in the last 3 years. And of those jobs, high-paying jobs has been dominating that. That's the kind of economy we want in this country, and there's more to be done.
You want to be president?
I'm just looking to be governor again.
Get reelected
November of
again.
this year is my focus.
All right, we've reached out to your opponent, by the way, Mark Jar, and we hope to hear from him. But in the meantime, Governor, very, very good seeing you.
Great to see you, Neil.
All right, and the nerd comment, I believe I built a career on it, Governor. Don't worry about that. All right.